Alright, I'm also going to try to keep this one brief. This one's a little different. About 10 million men worldwide kill themselves every single year. Doesn't sound like a lot to a population with billions. That's the issue. 3 million women kill themselves worldwide per year to about maybe around 4 or 5 million. Half the number, lower than that. But the number's risen, and that's a crisis for young girls and young women. Why is it not the same for young men? Because the video I released prior to this one being released talked about how women are the forefront of education. Well, they're the forefront of the world right now. So someone had to be pushed off to the back the last 30 years to make this happen. And I'm not saying 30 years prior there wasn't a male suicide epidemic. Smaller world numbers, but still a larger portion of men killing themselves than women due to just, honestly, a lot of what we see in life that women don't. You work a construction job for a week and you've seen someone get hit in the head, get shocked, something. It's a lot of awful stuff to, see on a day. Or just in general, a lot of the harder labor positions that men fill, people die regularly. At Vestas, the wind turbine, those things can break apart. There's all sorts of problems. You can get shocked very easily. But this one's addressed to male suicide. Let's be honest in the comments. Go ahead and drop a loved one you've lost to suicide. Man or woman, go ahead and name that person, and maybe not name them, or just talk about your experience since they did and see how it impacted you. I don't think it made you feel any better. I don't think it made you feel any less like killing yourself, or any less like you missed that person. It only fixed their problem temporarily and passed it off to other people and brought it on to other people. We need to do more for suicide awareness. I really do think so, and it is because it does impact men that I do think this. I've been at the bottom where that feels like a viable option, and it feels like it's entirely right to feel that way. But the thing is you gotta have some good support as well to get out of that. You can't be stuck in that forever. But with that though as well, we've thrown a lot of guys' issues out the window. One, guys are more often sexually harassed. As far as rape goes, we experience it in larger numbers, or as large of numbers. There's no one men can tell. Who do you tell that someone sodomized you? Or on this one, women emotionally and mentally manipulate men for sex a lot. And that can lead to a whole child being born if the woman's conniving enough. Really though, it's hard out here for men. It's not an easy world to be in, and it's not an easy place to exist. It's not easy times. The world's favoring women, and women are proving that they're not fit for that either. At the same time, we're giving a lot of undue credit and a lot of undue weight to women. The working world is proof of that. Men with experience aren't getting jobs because there's a woman who's younger and needs a job. That's not how that should work. I've lost jobs based on experience in those fields, and that's how that should work. That's a normal part of reality, a normal part of life. You don't typically get handed a job because of your gender, but now in our society, that's actually a sad reality. I don't know any of the manager's name, but I experienced this with Chipotle. They chose someone with no food prep, no other experience, no other job experience, other than the one job experience I had, and she didn't have the other 3 pieces of job experience I had that would have indicated I might have been a little more trainable for the job. But on the other end of that, she didn't have any job experience at all. And I didn't get that job, and it was just between me and her as candidates. The obvious choice was they picked the person who they wanted to give it to, not the person who was most qualified. And that's the problem with the world right now with hiring, with people, with That's why the world's so weird and why stores aren't being run properly, why management is constantly changing. It's because a lot of these positions are being given to girls that don't work for them, that don't ask for them or want them particularly, but they're there and they're going to take the money because it's money. One of my best friends did this, and now she's in a rut because she can't work anywhere else. She wants to always climb the ladder, and I had asked me recently, actually, this is why I bring that up, asked me recently about a job that not for climbing the ladder, and I'm like, yeah, if you need something until you find something else, but I know what's going to happen as soon as that person finds something else. They're going to immediately go straight back to ladder climbing, and I'm going to laugh at them when they're frustrated again. It's the same problem, but in a different way. They're getting handed something they're not ready for, so their suicide numbers may go up as well, because now we're seeing women put into positions of power that they can't handle and that they weren't trained for and that they weren't prepared for, or properly trained for, or properly prepared for. And what happens there is that now they've got to keep an eye out on themselves, their employees, and to a higher degree, because now they got an employee gunning for their position who could replace them with a call to HR because they don't know what they're doing, or who could replace them with a call to corporate because the people who hired them don't know what they're doing. It's a weird position to be in when you put someone in a position just because of their gender. That's a bad position to put yourself in, because at least if anybody comes down on you for giving that person that job, if you choose the most qualified candidate, you can say, hey, I picked the most qualified candidate. Picture being a man hiring a woman because she's a woman, and then you get fired because of this woman. She takes your old position. You'd probably want to kill yourself as well. But you could have hired the guy who wasn't going to gun for your job. You could have hired this kid who was 19 and wanted the experience and wanted more experience. That kid got put off and felt the same way that day that guy who lost his job to the girl he hired 3 months later feels that in that same instance. It's same feeling in different places of life. He didn't give that guy a job because, well, my staff is 90% male, I can't fill this last role with the dude. Gave that girl the job. That girl had been a manager prior at one store. She replaces the dude. I'm not saying that off of any relevant experience. That's a possibility of what happens. It's the thing I've seen happen, not in this particular case with the Chipotle. With the Chipotle, that was different. She, I think, ended up leaving a month later, and I could have reapplied. But after you've already been deselected through a process where it's kind of biased like that, your typical best bet is to move on, not to reapply. I mean, you can show that persistence, and that might net you that job depending, but I mean, with Chipotle, I'd only submitted the one application and gotten an interview, so I don't think persistence was what they were looking for. What's going on in the world and what you're seeing a lot more of is you're seeing men drop out of it. For sure. We're choosing to fill roles of the philosopher, the speaker, and if not, we're working on a kingdom, and so that way we don't have to be involved in the world but can still financially sustain. And what I mean by kingdom is a financial kingdom. Everybody deserves their financial kingdom. It's just harder, it seems, for men to typically reach those heights in this day and age in particular, because it's not women, I should say. I should also refrain from that. It's bitter women who are running the world right now that are causing these hardships for men. Or it's bitter women who are coming in with no experience demanding a management position. They feel jaded and ripped off in every other part of their life, so why should they come into work and expect the same? Because that's what you do at work. You get ripped off. You go and you trade your hours for a paycheck, and it's on an equivalent exchange, my friend. If you want equivalent exchange, get back to anime, because Full Metal Alchemist is waiting for you, and Ed's waiting for you to teach you a lesson on equivalent exchange as well. But equivalent exchange aside, your time is not worth $1, but it will never be worth the same dollar. Your time is technically and is realistically immeasurable. When you kill yourself, you take that immeasurable time, not from God or from a creator or from anything like that. You take it from the loved ones around you. These examples I give are just to show where women are being favored, but I mean, you can see this in Miss Monopoly giving these 12-year-old girls millions of dollars to work with. They're creating an uneven advantage towards men, and they're going, well, men can still win without that advantage. Not really, not when the world's full of disadvantaged odds. If a woman's been in management for 10 years but started not having a clue, she at least has some clue after 10 years. If she doesn't, that's where the management is constantly replaced every couple of years because they're not getting what they're supposed to do. It's confusing times, and why men aren't being picked for management, well, we're not eligible anymore because we had our time. Talk to your female manager, find out if she's a feminist. You can find out just through talking to them, I mean, really. But that aside, going back, again, we got to keep it on focus here. Male suicide is preventable. I mean, it's not going to be the situation of guys talk to somebody about it every time, but it is going to be the situation of look forward to something. I don't care what you look forward to. If you don't have a kid, I'm not saying go have a kid, but I'm saying a kid gave me something to look forward to in life, and I look forward to every minute I get with that kiddo. I didn't really have that before my kid, but now I do, and now I'm getting also better people around who I want to spend every minute with, and like, the change comes. Like, you have to invite the change, and you have to welcome the change. You can't be afraid of it. A lot of times people think we're going to kill ourselves because we didn't tell anybody how we felt. Telling people how we felt might have been the reason we wanted to kill ourselves in the first place. We've created a culture of men who can't be safe with their feelings, because if I'm telling my feelings to the world, they're going to get turned on me. That's just what I've learned in 26 years of having the internet, is that the other side of the internet is much uglier than you're capable of bringing. And it's because you still have a bit of humanity in you. It's because you still have a bit of humanhood in you. There's nothing wrong with that. Never let anyone tell you otherwise. Never net that shit. But never let anyone tell you otherwise, that it's not a trait of being a good human if you can't come through the screen as ugly as them. I know I can, because I've been through it for 26 years. My thing is I often do, because I shut people down when they start. That's just where I'm at in life. I'm not saying you have to be there, but I'm saying over time, as you man up, you'll get there. But another thing is that I think it's the feelings of not feeling like a man enough. I mean, we aren't allowed to be men in the world. This is going to change how we interact with the world, leading to possibly more suicides. I don't want to lose more friends, more family to suicide than I already have. The thing is that every woman I know who's tried to kill themselves only tried. If they were successful, they really were going for it. But the thing is, usually women try for non-fatal ways to go, and guys try for fatalities. A guy's going to try banging the hammer to the head before a woman does. Guys go for things that aren't survivable, driving a cliff off a rock. Women go for pills, scissors, cuts. They're not easily survivable. I'm not saying that. It's just, you're not surviving a fucking Toyota Corolla falling off a fucking mountain. You're just not. Like, that's really the logic when a guy kills himself, is I'm not surviving this. So, I mean, and that's what we've got to really work on, guys. You will survive whatever you're going through, my brothers. I know that you don't get that message of encouragement enough, but you are a man. You are strong. Go out there and protect what's yours, your family, your friends, your loved ones, whatever you value in this life, protect it. Never let anyone take it from you, because they will try and they will come. But when they come knocking on your door to take from you, just let them in, and if they take, let them leave. That is it. If they try to take from you and rob you of yourself, because I think that's what it comes down to, is men are killing themselves because they feel robbed of a sense of self. I did too. I really did without my daughter. But now I'm a father, and I can be the person I want to be, not just for her, but to show the world when she's fucking 18 and she's out the door looking at dudes who want to marry her because she's a good woman. I want to show the world that. I want the world to be able to see, wow, this guy raised his daughter right, because there is a right way and a wrong way to raise children. And I want my daughter to be a woman. I don't want her to feel like she doesn't have the ability to be a woman because some other woman said, you can't be a housewife. Hell no. That's what's leading to suicide with men. You can't want to have a family. You can't want to have a white picket fence and some kids and some shit of your own. You can't want to have property. The socialist left is what's making men kill themselves, whether it's men or women. It's what's making people kill themselves, is you can't have this, you can't want to be that. Why can't I want to be a Republican Black American? Why can't I want to have property? Why can't I want a conservative household and family? Why can't I want traditional values? What is wrong with that? I just don't understand. But the thing is, the world understands and they'll tell it to you for you. But my message here is I want men to come through this stronger. I know that it's going to be a tough couple next years. Whew, maybe a next couple few years. Shit. We about to have Trump round 2, so this might get hard for another 4 years, bros. Just be ready out there. Stay looking for your wife material. If you gone your own way, stay going your own way. You know I got love for my MGTOWs. And to all the good women of the world, you keep looking for that man who's going to treat you right, and he'll come. But I'm telling you this, listen to Jordan Peterson about Beauty and the Beast, because he may already be in your life. You just might be too something to notice him. You might be on too much bullshit, really. But look, I mean, and men have that same thing going. There's that great woman in their life, and they're on too much bullshit. But on a real note, I think that men can make it through this. I think we can bring our suicide rate down, and I think it'll take not talking, it'll take action, it'll take meaning, and it'll take purpose in this world to change us. But I think we can find that. I don't think we have to find it alone. I don't think you have to feel alone in this. That's what the internet exists for, and it's such a great platform. I mean, there's tons of... You can't reach out through your statuses. Don't do that. But reach out to people who've been close to you, and that's your greatest resource through the internet. Shit, if you don't have anybody, there are chat rooms for this shit. Not even kidding. And I know it's uncomfortable, and I know it's awkward, but let somebody hear your problems, and maybe somebody has an answer that you never had. But other than that, YouTube, signing off. I have to touch up on that subject periodically. It bugs me because I'm a dude. I've lost friends. I've lost family. I don't want to lose anyone else. I just want the world to know that suicide touches you and that it changes how you view suicide. I don't see it as strictly a cowardly act or the coward's way out, but I don't see it as anything I can remember fondly. It puts distance between the person who kills themselves either, or who kills themselves too. It puts a distance between you and them. Because if you stay idolizing that person, you'll end up being them. And nobody's trying to be buried 6 feet under like that prematurely. Like, that's just what it is. But other than that, YouTube, I'm going to get back to this sick-ass Nintendo Switch game, Battle Chasers. Again, this is a really rough topic, but it's something I touch up on once in a while because I'm not going to let the world forget. Also, same with that Epstein shit. I might make a video on that, but other than that, YouTube, you have a great week, a great day, and just a great life in general, and make sure to do what you can to help your neighbor. When you see your neighbor struggling, you never know what that, hey, here's $5 might mean to somebody else. I'm not saying you gotta give them your whole paycheck, but I am saying if you see your neighbor struggling and you could help with the 5 spot, just so they could get lunch that day, it ain't never killed nobody. So, other than that, YouTube, signing off. Have a great week again.